All right, so you're about to listen to this podcast with me and one of my close friends, Corbo. He is a wonderful human being. I've known him since I was in like junior high. Um, we get very drunk and we ramble a lot. It is a long one and there's a lot in it. Um, just a forewarning of half of the conversations we start in this one, we do not finish. And a lot of the ones in this are some vitriolic topics and stuff. So if you want to take a listen, take a listen. Anyways, on to the podcast.
You have an intro you do for these?
Yeah. Hello, Corbo. Welcome to the Wiretap.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well. What would you do if I came in and I just full deadpan didn't respond to anything on your couch?
Dude, Jay Shot literally just did that at Lud's house. Like,
Oh, shit.
He flew Lud, Cutie, his girlfriend, flew him out to do a roast of Lud for Lud's 3-year anniversary on Twitch.
Yeah.
And they flew Jay Shot out, and he was like fully aware this was happening. And then came to the roast and said one joke and then just large amounts of silence. And it was the funniest thing on the
That's a recurring theme I have, where I have like all of these ideas where it's like, oh man, this is like fucking, terrible, not funny content.
Yeah.
But it would be funny to me.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. And then I like, there are a couple of YouTubers I've seen where they've come up with ideas where it's like, fuck, that's so good.
I wanted to do
like
that.
fucking all gas, no brakes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. I dreamed that. That was such
100%.
That's
Just like
he's good too.
He's great. He's a great like man on the street, just like going to rando
I
fucking
just
places.
I wanted to say, because I know your audience is allegedly mostly teenage girls. Don't worry, this one isn't dangerous. I was gonna say y'all can skip this one. I'm fucking nobody. This one's not interesting. It's just two dudes on a couch.
What's ironic is that like normally like when people say like, oh, your audience is all like teenage girls unless they're like a vlog bitch boy or some shit, like like normally that's a joke. But specifically for the podcast, my female audience is like 40%.
Well, yeah, because
it's weird.
I don't know her name.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen stories. I had Callie on, and although they go by they them, so
well, a lot of people you have on, because we have some overlap in friends group and in interest, but a lot of the people you've had on, especially, I am not part of the metal scene.
Yeah,
I've gone to some local shows, mostly ones that you were playing.
Yeah,
I've said hi to some of the guys, but like I'm not a person in that scene.
Yeah.
Which again, if you're a teenage girl or if you're a person from that scene, you just skip this one.
Well, if you guys don't know, our relationship, I've known you since like fucking middle school. We've been friends since junior high.
The first year in junior high, I don't know that we knew each other by name.
No,
but we were aware. We were in digital media class together, which ties into the theme that we were both video editors.
Yeah.
We both make music.
We both make content.
We both make content. We are both sort of professional.
Yeah. Look how scuffed this is. I mean, come on.
Yes. Professional, quote unquote, men who wear a lot of hats.
Yes, we both do. We're both production people in a lot of ways.
Yes, look at me, I'm fucking behind the camera guy. I mean, we both are. We both look grungy as hell.
Yeah,
but,
we both are.
We're
not pretty boys.
I always, my interest was more behind the camera. I can act, I can put on a face for the camera, but it's always been like, and when I direct too, this is going to happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start saying something, and then I'm going to start saying something else. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to be down in your comment section, finishing all of my fucking tangents in post.
Well, your comment on my last video was really funny. I'm happy that happened. If you guys haven't seen, I made a video on new metal that Corbo here gave me the fucking idea for, and that I called him out specifically because he gave me this idea, which is a great idea to do. And so I just called him out and said like, oh, he's a great content creator whenever he makes content. And you
listen, I'm one of those guys that I work on the big one script.
Yes, you do
90% of the time, and then I have some fucking idea where I'm like, I can make this in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I make it in an evening and I put it out there, and sometimes I clickbait it enough that it gets views.
Yeah, your fucking Persona 4 video got like fucking 35,000 views.
Yes, it boggles my mind. The first one, because I made the first one.
Yeah, and that one did well too.
Because there's two versions of Persona 4.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm an old weeaboo. Fucking throw rocks in my house. The first one's about the first version of the game. And it was there's a big trend with challenge YouTube right now.
Yes,
for video games.
100%.
Can you beat the game with X, whatever.
That's why Small
all that kind of shit. Small Ant's doing
Ant's
it
huge.
big.
Point
J
Guard
Rose
does it.
11, who I can't give
J-Rose.
enough credit to
Yes.
for the ideas he's given me. And then the one that I was directly aping off with that video was Your Bud Tevin, also a great creator. Also shout out to him, where he did a video about Persona 5 where it's can you get to level 99 in the first dungeon in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I like Persona 4 because it's the good one.
That's totally not going to anger so many people.
Persona 5 is a lot of people's jumping on point. It was
Yes.
ridiculous popular, and it's a good, well-made game.
Yeah.
I like 4 more. 4 has better characters. But I looked online, and I saw that no one had really done that for Persona 4. And the Shin Megami Tensei franchise in general does not have the biggest YouTube scene. It has a small but loyal one.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I know this game better than most people on the planet.
Yeah.
Which didn't stop me from getting a ton of things wrong. Because I'm a fucking idiot. But I
Talk
was...
about the glitch instance.
Oh, that's a fucking tangent.
That is a tangent. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I'll make a video. It'll take 5 minutes. So there's... Because I had knowledge on that subject that I don't think anyone online before I said it had talked about.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I might be wrong and I might be talking out of my ass, but I believe that I was genuinely the person that made this knowledge public, which is with Persona, you use your personas like they're Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then you can fuse them with another persona to make a third one.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that they get stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And depending on the forecast of the day, because it's equal parts RPG and life sim,
Yeah.
depending on the day, you can have things like, oh, if you fuse a persona on this day, it'll get +5 to endurance. A lot of boring shit like that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that can happen is skill change, which is one of the abilities has the chance to change into another ability of the same tier.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of organized into tiers, the skills are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a tier 7 skill, because tier 7 is, I think, the highest in the game.
Yeah.
Called Victory Cry, which is after every battle, your HP and your mana get fully restored.
Oh, that sounds like a really good
means, yeah, at the point you get that, because that's intended to be a New Game Plus skill.
one. Oh, okay.
At the point that you get that, grinding is just a matter of how long you got, bud.
Yeah.
It's no longer like, oh, I gotta preserve mana or whatever. It's just, do you got the time? You can hit 99.
Yeah.
And there's another level 7 skill that's available much earlier in the game called Tetrakarn. It's a complete physical shield for 1 turn. And because Tetrakarn is a tier 7 skill and Victory Cry is a tier 7 skill,
You could get that
with
skill.
the right setup,
Yeah.
you could get Victory Cry on an early game persona. Well, early game.
Early game.
In big quotations.
Yeah.
And people knew about this exploit. This is not me saying that I discovered the Tetrakarn Victory Cry glitch. That's right. All 3 people that came over. That's right.
You were aware.
Your fucking name's on my list. But I didn't discover this. But people knew about this. But the most of the people who talked about it, they talked about you can do it at June in the game's calendar,
Mhm.
or like May. But you get skill change. Your first opportunity for it is in April, like the first month. And I never saw anyone talking about getting it there because you do have to grind up to like level 35 very quickly. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. I found it and I was like, cool. I now have this nugget of information that no one on planet Earth but me cares about.
Yeah.
And like 5 other people, I guess. And so I had that knowledge and I was like, all right, I'll make a video talking about how getting to level 99 in Persona 4 would be very easy. You just have to do that. And then I'll clickbait the shit out of it. And I'll shill my Twitch at the end, which
Yeah.
I don't stream anymore.
I was gonna say you're on there often.
Mm-hmm.
I have you on my auto host. I don't think that's ever been fulfilled.
I don't stream ever. So I did that, and it didn't instantly blow up.
No, that one was a slow burn.
But it over a couple months, it got like 14 to 17,000 views, which is fucking outrageous for anything I've ever made. And it was one of those projects where literally the moment I hit publish, I was like, oh, there's so much wrong with this video. Oh, I made so many mistakes. This is such a bad video.
Yeah.
And so I had it burning in the back of my head for a while to correct it. And literally like 8 days after I put it live, the second version of Persona 4 Golden got ported from the Vita for the first time ever to Steam with no warning. Like, no one was saying this was going to happen. So there was egg on my face because that was like the big thing that got it a bunch of views.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll make an update video eventually, which I did. I put more effort into it because I didn't want the most viewed video I'd ever made
to be wrong.
To be A, wrong, and B, something I made in like an hour.
Yeah, that too.
That's the existential nightmare of most people.
Yeah.
You work for days on something and it gets 20 views. You work for 5 minutes on a shit post and it gets 1 million.
Dude, I have a video with like 8K views now or some ship like that, and it is a video I literally didn't have a script for, and I just like had Astrid come over and like we just talked, and then it got up to like 8K views. I spent like fucking a week on that new metal video, and it's like sitting at just under 100 right now. Oh my god, I fucking hate my life.
That's the struggle.
That is the struggle.
It's a matter of providing a service that people want to see, for one thing.
Yeah, that too.
And that's sort of the difference between broad topic YouTube and niche topic YouTube.
Yeah, that's my issue. Is that I'm niche as fuck.
You're either a little fish in a small pond, or you're wrong all the time. Which that's the two differing experiences that we've had. Basically, is your music YouTube is a crowded place, even if not all of the artists are on the same level per se.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw rocks at anyone. I don't want to. I don't want to disparage anyone who wants to do YouTube or does YouTube. It's a hard, thankless thing to do sometimes, especially thankless.
Specifically at the start.
Oh yes, but if you're gonna be in a crowded pond, if you're gonna make
like fucking gaming.
If you're doing Let's Plays or anything, if you're going to be in a crowded pond, because I've done Let's Plays.
Yeah, same.
And they get no views.
No.
And I may be temporarily proud of the product, but it's really hard to maintain motivation even if you're happy in the product if you don't see results.
Exactly.
And YouTube is a service, if you're in a crowded pond, that will not give you results.
No.
So, say hypothetically you make your first ever video, and it's a 10 out of 10 video in your eyes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's probably not a 10 out of 10 video in the grand scheme of things. Nobody's good at first, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's 10 out of 10 in your eyes, and you put so much effort into it, and that thing gets 5 views in a week.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much fun you had making it.
It's crushing.
That response crushes you.
Yeah.
And that's being in a big pond.
Yeah.
And if you try to do a small pond, if you want to make content for a niche audience, like sad old weeaboos, then you put your effort into a project, you make it a 10 out of 10 project in your eyes, and it's never going to get the views that it would make if you made an actual 10 out of 10 project in a big pond.
Yeah.
And B, anything wrong with your content
it's over.
Is intensely scrutinized.
Yeah.
Because if you're making products, they are products.
They are products.
If you're making products for a small pond, you are making it for the audience of people who already know about what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So if you're making it for those kinds of people and you're wrong on anything, they're going to know.
Exactly. If
you play video games wrong on a Let's Play channel, you have to be a certain level of big before people tell you that you stink.
And not only that, but like it's like you have to be a certain level of big before people start telling you you're wrong, but you also have to be a big level of big before it's like really like overbearingly a lot.
Well, and you have to be a certain level of big before you become able to ignore it.
Yeah, that too.
Like, there's a lot of YouTubers who got caught in that sort of transitional period of big but not big enough.
Yes.
Where their detractors became a large part of their audience, and it ruined the experience for them.
Yeah.
I know Spoonie would be a good example. I'm not sure that there are any others off the top of my head, but sort of, if you're in that transitional phase, you're big enough to have detractors, but you're not big enough to ignore them in favor of the others. And that there are people who are going to disagree with that. They're going to be like, oh, you can always just ignore negative feedback.
Yeah.
But I think negative feedback will have value.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a black metal video where I talked about the whole like Euronymous Varg, all that bullshit. And like it was a starter pack for people to get into black metal. And I very specifically made a very clear point to not include any NSBM because I'm like, because that's a big thing for me.
Because that's
fuck Nazis.
Absolutely.
And so I made a very big point of this, but I also got the fucking story about Varg and Euronymous wrong. I forgot one fact,
especially with the black metal.
Oh yeah, it was.
You're done.
It was. I got comments.
Yeah.
And I was mad about it. I was like, oh, you're right. I fucked that up. Like, I apologize, whatever. And like, they were chilling about it. They were like, yeah, just, read more into it. And I'm like, all right. But
I mean, yeah, there's always the difference between constructive and non-constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Which that's the one benefit of Small Pond for the most part.
Yeah.
The problem.
Ooh,
words are hard.
Words are hard when they're drinking Thor's Equinox.
Yeah, this is good shit.
Yeah, it is good shit. It's very good shit.
One of the big problems with Small Pond YouTube is you will get constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Where it's not something that is consequential.
Yeah. But they'll point it out anyways.
Well, yes, absolutely. Like, if I finish my videos always, and I find the editing errors.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of viewers won't notice stuff like that.
No.
But some of the egregious ones, they will.
Yeah.
And if people commented about, like, oh, you made an error, like, right here, I'd be like, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah.
Or like writing.
Yeah.
I
Text
write
on screen.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, yeah, especially when you're reading shit back.
I have typoed so much shit on subtitles on screen.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Well, or like I had a short story. I write some short stories. Of a certain nature. From time to time.
It's full.
It's full. 7 terabyte hard drive. It's full.
It's full.
I'm not ashamed of consuming that sort of content.
Oh, dude, one of our very close friends, I won't say his name, but one of our very close friends is only consumes that sort of content on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I hope he listens to just this one.
If you're listening to this, come visit me. I miss you.
True. Yeah. No.
I'm unashamed of it. Sex work is work.
Sex work is work.
And drawn and written pornography is still a form of sex work.
Exactly. As Killer Mike said, I support sex workers unionizing their services.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I support sex workers. I support teenage girls, not at the same time.
Woo!
You might want to cut that one.
What's the time code? Okay, cool.
Yeah, but someone pointed out, like, hey, I like the idea you're working with, but one of the characters, like, you didn't characterize them at all. And this was like a month after I posted it, and I looked back and I was like, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
You're totally fucking right, dude. I can't change it now. Something that, like, broad, I can't change that.
Yeah.
It's like when someone comments, like, okay, this is a good video, but I don't like the style that you edited it in.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck
because
does it even mean?
Because it makes the tone feel a certain way. And like you look back at it and you're like, yeah, I can see what you mean about like the tone of it.
I've had
I
shit
can't
like
change that.
Yeah. Like I had one person in one of my early videos who was like, your editing style is like a 100K channel. How are you at like under 100 subs? And I was like, because I make fucking shitty content. Because I make content for fucking sweaty, greasy music nerds living in my mom's basement. Like, that's why. Which, hey, if you're a sweaty, greasy nerd in your mom's basement who likes music, shout out.
The overlap of sweaty, greasy nerds and teenage girls in your audience.
It's a lot.
I mean,
honestly,
there's lots of communities where those are the two groups.
Smash communities. Yeah.
Be careful with that one.
Yeah, that one I might have to also cut.
You don't knock the Smash community as two noted Smash players.
I was gonna say we both play Smash.
I mean, yeah.
God.
When you're, small pond YouTube is it'll get you views.
I was gonna say it's really easy to start getting views if you do small pond YouTube, but it's really hard to sustain.
Well, I think that's my general advice to anyone who wants to do content creation. Not that I'm some fucking sage of content creation. I have 500 whole subscribers.
Yeah, and 240 more than I do.
Yeah, I'm not some arbiter of how to do YouTube right. Yeah, but generally my advice, no matter what field you're in, is to know your audience. Yeah. If I'm because I'm not going to be the persona YouTuber. Because I've made 2 videos, one of which was mostly correcting errors in the last one and saying one small thing that got 100 comments. Yep. I'm gonna die mad about that one. Because like half the comments were fucking literally repeating my point back to me, but then saying, no, but you're wrong.
I love
that's an example of yes, this was constructive negative criticism. Because I said that interaction was a glitch.
Yes. Let's get into this.
It is technically more of an exploit. But my reasoning was, I'm going to call it a glitch because glitch is an inherently semantic term, and most people will know this as the certain persona glitch. Yeah. If I said the certain persona exploit, people might not understand the same thing. And the community has referred to it as a glitch on and off throughout the years. Yeah. I included several other far more controversial things in that same video. Guess which one I got 100 fucking comments about?
Dude, I totally... We were talking about this on the way over back to my house, but like, because we were both talking about getting negative comments about stuff we talk about.
We're YouTubers. We bitch about what you put in the comments. Put stuff in the comments for us to bitch about when we meet in the future.
Yes, please do. When I put in, so there's anyone who's a metal fan is probably and is on Facebook. Hi, I'm depressed too. How are you doing?
Anyone still on Facebook? Just
hey.
I know it's rough.
It's rough out there, friend.
Your 60s is a hard time.
Listen, you get your ARP card yet? I have.
Once you get the ARP card, everything opens up to you.
Yeah, exactly. Denny's gives you that sweet 5 off.
Somehow they still let you drive.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna be old one day.
Yeah, this clip is gonna come back when we're old as fuck, and it's like, man, this aged poorly.
I fucking hope all the terrible things I say about elderly people come back to haunt me, because I've called for the euthanization of everyone over the age of 60 before. Woo! It's the only way we can bring an end to cable news.
This is true. Yeah. It's the only way we can bring an end to SNL.
We have to get rid of airports, because where else is CNN gonna play on mute to a fucking empty lobby of people for?
But it's very true. So
those are the 2 audiences for CNN. It's fucking airport waiting rooms and old people, both of which are full of people that are gonna die soon.
Woo! Yeah, true. You are true.
Yeah,
you are right. But so I made this new metal video. If you haven't,
it's good.
Watch it. Thank you.
Your delivery's a little flat.
Yeah, because I'm not a person that's in front of a camera. I'm not good at being in front of a camera. I just do it because I want to make stuff. Yeah. And so I'm trying to get better at it. But...
You see, I can do the on camera delivery.
Yeah, you can.
I have the voiceover, but at the same time, like, you put me in front of a camera, and people see how weird and mutant my facial movements are, and how I look like a fucking insane person whenever I'm talking for a prolonged period of time.
Well, I was excited for you to come on the podcast.
Yes, video content.
And but so I made this new metal video. It's called "New Metal: The Cockroach of Metal," because I mean it is, in my opinion, but that's a whole different concept. But that's a whole different
new metal. I know, at least for me, I would think as well for you, was one of the first genres that we were ever interested in as kids, because we grew up in a very specific time in history.
Yeah.
A very bad time in history.
Yes.
9/11 had just happened.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit was on the airwaves.
Ugh, it's sad.
Two things of equal amounts of tragedy.
I was going to say, honestly, which one's worse?
Yeah. There were three bad things that happened in 2001. The XFL, Limp Bizkit, 9/11. You really can't rank them in any definitive order.
No, exactly. Woo! Well, I posted it. So if you're on Facebook and you're a metalhead, you're probably aware of the group Pig Skulls and Breakdowns. It's the most fucking toxic, like shit-eating group on the face of the planet.
I've been in a lot of toxic groups and Facebook groups.
Oh, especially online in general, like forums in general. Because
internet discourse is vitriolic by nature.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's at
it evolved from a vitriolic place.
Exactly. And so I posted in this group, knowing full well that I was going to get hate comments, because I was like, that's just what this group does. They shit on anything they say. You could say two opposite things, like I didn't really like this style of music, or I really like this style of music, and you'll get equal amounts of hate for both.
Oh, absolutely.
From the same people. And so,
I mean, dash MU.
Yeah, it's basically dash MU.
Any sort of, I think there are. Cut that out. I want them to know I have gas.
Gassy boy.
There are basically there are two kinds of communities on the internet. I think there's the community of singular common interest, and then there's the community of broader common interest,
like
which sort of feeds into the idea of big pond, small pond as well.
Yeah, it does.
Like if you're in a fan page for the band Anal Cunt, you're gonna find like-minded people about the band Anal Cunt.
Yeah.
100%. If you're in a page for offensively named metal bands, you can post, "Yo, Anal Cunt was the hypest."
Yeah.
And you're gonna get
1.5 million people be like, "No, man, torso fuck."
You're gonna get people like, "Yeah, Anal Cunt's the best," and you're gonna get, "Yeah, fucking gore grinder sex crime is like the fucking tits, dude."
Yeah, exactly. And so
fucking nipple fuck thrust cunt
is the best. And
if it sounds like Tourette's dad, it's the best.
So I posted in here, and I got a couple comments that were like, "Oh, I agree," or "I disagree," or whatever. That were like, they were like a little like, definitely a little like annoyed, but like not like angry. You know, like just kind of like, I agree or disagree. And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. And I got a couple people who were like, if anybody thinks otherwise of your opinion, you're fucking stupid. I'm like, whoa, that
is a weird reaction to get. That never feels normal.
No. I'm like, they're like, if you think anything other than what you said about Limp Bizkit, then anybody else who thinks otherwise is cringe. I'm like, whoa.
Someone on one of my Persona videos pointed out a genuine mistake I had made, and someone else came to my defense, and I was like, "This is weird.
It's weird.
I'm wrong, dude.
I'm so wrong.
I appreciate it, but I'm fucking some guy. I don't know you."
So, oh god, yeah. So then I got this one comment. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, "New metal's like the greatest genre of music on the face of the planet. It's not our fault you don't get it. It's not our fault that your taste buds are in your asshole." I'm like, whoa.
Which,
bro.
I mean, what a fucking hill to die on.
Right? Like, of new metal little things. Like, listen, I too liked wearing Jinkos in the 90s, but let's be real here. Like, it's not the best.
You don't understand. Linkin Park understood me at 12 years old.
Linkin Park, when he was talking about how he saw like his friend die at some point or something, that's how I felt about my mom not giving me Dino Nuggies. That's how I felt.
My mom didn't take me to GameStop that one time.
Oh god, on site,
dude. I fucking listened to Crawling all night long.
On site,
because these wounds, they will not heal. I did not go to GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
I could not buy Madden 11. These wounds will not heal.
They will not heal. Yeah, no. That video is probably my best video I've done. Definitely my most well thought out. Yeah. But also my most vitriolic as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one I was aware that I was like, I'm gonna get some opinions.
Well, yeah, because while the tone of your video is not inherently negative,
no,
the premise,
yes,
and the presentation very much is.
Yeah, and I kind of made that as a point. Like,
yeah,
I wanted to get a little bit of clickbait.
Well, I think if you're gonna present any genre that way, I think nu metal is the most logical choice.
Yeah. Especially for alternative music like that.
Nu metal branded itself on Vitriol.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That and angst.
Yeah, that and being a white kid from the suburbs. Who angry.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, nu metal. I think as time goes on, people are going to sort of reevaluate it, like they're doing a lot of stuff from that era.
Yeah,
because I know for me, it was probably the first genre that I can really remember, like seeking out as something I liked.
Yeah, same.
Which I think this is sort of off topic. This is sort of a different topic. I think if you really think about like the first album that you really chose to pursue and like sit down and listen to of your own accord, and then like other albums around that same time, it probably still says a good deal about your current music taste.
That's fair, yeah. Because I still love because the first one I sat down and fully listened to was "Let It Unfold You" by Census Fail.
And that was like the first album you ever like consciously said as a child, like, today I am listening to an album.
Yeah, the 100%. Because my friends played a couple of their songs like in their living room because they just pulled up YouTube on their like Xbox 360 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I
were you playing Halo at the time?
No, I think we were playing Sunset like Drive or whatever that fucking game was.
Because
whatever racing game.
I went over to my friend's house who lived in a trailer park.
Oh yeah.
And we sat down and we played Halo 1 multiplayer.
Oh,
and
did you have the meme?
What was
Did you have the meme? Like the fucking sit down, play Halo 1, put on like POW or PDW or
worse.
Whatever. Oh no.
Because we sat down to play it in his mom's bedroom, which is fucking disgusting.
Let's go.
But he was like, all right, we're going to listen to some music while you play. Do you want music with swears or without swears?
Yo.
And I was like fucking 9, dude. So I was like, swears. And he put on Last Resort by Papa Roach. Like the most stereotypical.
Let's go.
I didn't understand how much of a meme that song was until I got older, and I was like, I got the most stereotypical introduction.
You did. I got into like kind of because so a lot of people don't necessarily know like how I got into music. I haven't talked about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
I've talked about it a little bit, but I got into music because my dad was like 80s punk kid.
Oh hell yeah!
And so he introduced me at a really young age to like Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, Fugazi, all that kind of stuff. And then like also
Fugazi, who you are doing a video on coming out soon.
Oh, fuck you. I'm not even done with the script. You came in and you saw my script that had a paragraph and a half.
Coming out next week. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, friends. So I had what was I saying? I
know it's still recording when it goes into sleep mode, but it bugs me.
It bugs the fuck out of me. I know. I like to see the levels.
Plus, we can see like a time counter now.
Exactly.
We can know how long we've been fucking rambling for.
Exactly. Which, I mean, in all honesty, this can go for however long we want it to. I mean, I usually...
Don't tempt me.
Oh, no, I'm down.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, like, I tell people, like, when I have people on, I'm like, oh, it's like 45 minutes to an hour. That's just because most people don't want to go over an hour.
Yeah.
But, like, with me and you, we've A, known each other for so long, and B, we're just so fucking rambly to both of us.
You gotta be close to a decade at this point.
Yeah, it's almost a decade. Like, yeah, I think, was it 7th or 8th?
First year of junior high that we met.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you when we started, like, actually knowing each other.
Yeah, I don't know when we started actually, like, hanging out, but I remember...
I know that allegedly our first interaction was me picking you up and throwing you over my shoulder.
That was exactly what it was, because I had already finished my video for digital media, and so he told me to go help other people with their videos, so I walked up to you, because nobody was helping you already, and I was like, yo, do you need me to do anything?
I looked fucking weird, so no one was helping me.
That's fair. But I was like, yo, you need anything? And you were like, yeah, you're going to act. And I was like, all right, cool. And then you were like...
If you're ugly, make friends and keep them.
Keep them.
You aren't going to find anyone else to film videos with you.
Very true. So I was like, cool. And you were like, hey, you're going to be a villain. Here's your line. Just say that and laugh. in like an evil way, and I was like, all right, cool.
I don't.
But by the way,
this.
we're a junior high. Like this is
Yeah.
very much like.
For the record, I don't remember any of this, and I don't make any.
You also played football though.
Yes. Are you saying that's where the memory
Yes.
comes from? If I remember you saying that tomorrow, I'll be very angry. I mean, I know for a fact I was concussed while playing football.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
I had at least 2 experiences where I can say with some certainty that I was concussed while playing football.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in the fact I've never gotten a concussion.
I've had several.
Holy shit! I
Yeah.
remember when I slammed my head on that rock and you concussion checked me. I was
Yes,
actually shocked that you had one.
Because I'm very familiar with the symptoms of a
Yes.
concussion at this point because I A, played football and saw other people get one,
Yes.
and B, I've had more than half a dozen throughout my
Jesus.
life. I had at least 2 playing football, at least 2 in my childhood before 10.
I remember one of those stories. I think Vivian told me one of those.
Was it the one where the cousin threw a rock at my head?
Yes. It was
Yeah, that one was fucked. I still hate that guy. Fuck you, Nicholas. If you're watching. I ain't forgive you for that.
Imagine your cousin watches me and doesn't know we have a relationship like at all.
I think he's a raver is the thing.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't want you in my audience if that's I'm kidding.
You heard it here. Tucker draws a line at ravers.
That's actually not true. I've been trying to plan a video on like EDM for a long time.
Well, yeah.
Because I feel like EDM's a constant. Okay, we're so sidetracked. I feel like
This is why I'm saying I'm going to be in the comments section, fucking just dissecting all of the tangents I abandoned.
yeah.
If at any point I stop talking about something and you want me to finish the thought, fucking comment it. I will respond to you. I promise.
Yeah, we will try to figure it out.
I am really fucking bad at staying on topic. I
Same.
am probably ADHD out the ass, never diagnosed, because that's just how my mom was.
Yeah. But so I because EDM is never really talked about in terms of like YouTube music.
Yeah.
Like YouTube music, people talk about like alt rock, they talk about indie rock, they talk about rap,
dubstep.
they talk about dubstep a little bit, they talk about rap mainly.
That one video
hip-hop.
on dubstep is like just
Oh yeah, the
definitive.
Skrillex one, right?
Yes.
Yes, that one's very good.
It's the thing that I envy
That's-
most.
That's one of the first ones that I've seen that was on like a electronic music genre.
Yeah.
And then like there's a couple on hyperpop now because
Yes.
hyperpop's blown up.
Well, that's
But-
the thing that I admire most in YouTube is the idea of you make a video on something, be it a broader topic or a smaller topic, and you have made like the definitive video
Yes.
on that topic.
Especially in a smaller pond because
Yes.
yeah, like if you're in a big pond, there's gonna be a bunch of overlap.
Like in my
But-
mind, the Plinkett reviews of the Star Wars prequels
Yes.
are the definitive
Those-
videos
Yes,
on that subject.
Lincoln specifically.
Me and All My Homies Hate Dubstep is the definitive video on dubstep.
Yes.
And my goal always with the big one, quote unquote, is I want to make the definitive video on the topic.
Yeah. But like nobody really talks about it much, and so I want to go into like why YouTube doesn't really focus on that, even though in like all of the videos that people use, they all use like some form of EDM. In
Yeah.
almost all their backing tracks.
I think EDM might be the most prevalent and commonplace genre that people either have a negative opinion on or don't have an opinion on.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I try to find the good in almost every genre. I like almost every genre because like
Yeah, about the same.
yeah, like we both are because like
I have a couple of like smaller pet genres that I just
Yeah.
don't fuck with.
no, I mean yeah, obviously we all have a couple of, but I'm talking like major genres like
Yeah,
you know like country, jazz.
well, you know,
blues,
every
that sort of
fucking
stuff.
white suburban kid was everything but country and rap at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
And-
let me tell you, kids, if you're gonna say you like everything but country and rap,
You're getting made fun of.
fucking don't say anything else.
Say anything but that.
anything else.
You're getting made fun of behind your back.
I was that kid.
I was also that kid.
I have known that kid.
Yes.
All of those fucking shitters are on drugs now.
Yeah.
And most of them are on rich white people drugs too.
Yeah, they're not the fun kind of drugs. But like, I think the main reason why, like, especially review YouTube, because I had this idea back when I was still reviewing music.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, fucking hate reviewing music. I've talked about
Yeah.
it a little bit. The reason why I stopped reviewing music is because it's weird to try to look at someone's art that they poured their heart and soul into and try to find something negative about it.
Well, and the whole thing about internet culture being built on vitriol.
Yeah.
Review anything is 100% like sort of the progenitor of that.
Oh, 100%. And like reviewing, like the reason why I started talking about genres and being more about like the grander scheme of things in the big picture is because I don't feel like I'm attacking someone.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
like reviewing music, especially because I'm mainly like someone who reviews alternative genres and stuff like that. So like the issue is that like if I say something bad about like someone in the hardcore scene, I can know that guy.
Yes.
I have that guy. I probably have that guy on fucking Facebook, and like he doesn't care. He's like, oh, thanks for listening, at least.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he doesn't give a fuck. But I still feel bad, and it's like I don't want to fucking feel bad. So that's why I started talking about broader genres. But anyways, EDM. The reason I think why it's very not prevalent on review YouTube, specifically like Fantano space,
Yeah.
is because EDM artists don't release like collaboration or not collaboration, but like compilation albums or even just like whatever, like compilations, albums, like whatever. They don't release albums. They release singles and EPs at most.
I think it might also have to do with EDM being generally more of a vibe music.
Yes, 100%.
And it's very hard to review vibe music.
It is. That's why I also had a hard time doing, because I would someone would be like, yo, you should review like this hardcore band. I'm like, listen, I love hardcore, but it is pretty close to vibe music, if not vibe music. Like it is. Unless you're looking at lyrics, it is.
It's like, oh man, I'm not that into Nujabes. That's one of my music hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
Like lo-fi hip hop and all that doesn't really do much for me.
I like it for background.
But that's vibe music.
Yeah, I like it for
and
background.
like, what is my negative review of vibe music going to be other than I don't fuck with it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a vibe I have.
There's nothing that you're putting into that conversation that hasn't already been put in.
I can't critique like the mixing or the instrumentation of vibe music, especially Nujabes, because Nujabes was great.
Mm-hmm.
He made, like, as far as I'm concerned, he made what you could basically call objectively good music, because it's all well mixed and well thought out. But I just don't fuck with the vibe.
Yeah.
So, like, what can I say about that other than it doesn't do it for me?
It's kind of similar to black metal.
Yes, because black metal is vibe music.
Yeah, black metal is 6-minute long, recorded in the potato screech music.
I mean,
I love black metal.
I fuck with some black metal.
But also, like, the issue is that when I'm just driving down the highway and the random fucking, like, Oathbreaker songs come on, I love Oathbreaker. Sometimes, not the vibe. Sometimes it's not the vibe.
This is a discussion I had with a friend of mine where they're really into the band Glass Animals.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know.
And Glass Animals is vibe music.
100%.
And it's not a vibe that I fuck with.
Yeah.
Because I would say Glass Animals is very, like, moody boyfriend music.
Yes, it is, 100%.
And that is just not a vibe I feel.
It's very much, oh, that's so sad, babe. Sorry about your depression. Nice text, though.
Are we dissing on Glass Animals now?
A little bit. I like Glass Animals too, but listen, that definitely is the vibe.
There are certain vibes where it's like, I'm not having it now, and I'm never going to have this vibe, so this music just isn't for me.
Yeah.
And they said, fair. Swans is that way for me.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah.
Swans is definitely vibe music.
Swans is vibe music.
Post-punk in general is vibe music, I think.
It's completely okay to not like music where it's not so much about, like, here's a brilliant musical idea I came up with. It's more like the wallpaper for a feeling.
Yeah,
Swans is music that is an emotional wallpaper.
Yeah, 100%.
Glass Animals is the same way, like lo-fi hip-hop is the same way.
Yeah.
It is a wallpaper music. And that's not an inherently worse thing than music that isn't that.
Yeah.
Vibe music has just as much of a place in music as any other kind, but
to review it is hard.
Yes. With an album where there's a number of, like, artistic statements the artist wants to make.
Yeah.
Like, say, Dorian Electra.
Dorian Electra is
someone where, like, all of the songs there's ideas behind.
Yes, 100%.
Or a band that I'm a huge fan of, Tropical Fuckstorm.
True. Run the Jewels as well.
Run the Jewels, like, all of their songs, they have ideas behind them, but there is not an inherent greater value to a song that has something that it wants to say than there is to something that does not.
Yeah.
This is something that people obsess over way too much in media criticism in general. Part of why criticism is kind of toxic at times.
Yes, 100%.
Especially
band liking criticism.
Yes. Well, there's a certain moral relativism to all of criticism.
Mm-hmm.
There's an idea of, like, this thing has something to say.
Yes.
This thing doesn't. So the thing that doesn't have something to say, that's worse. But, like, why?
Why is that?
Why is it worse? Why is saying something the end goal of art as opposed to being enjoyed?
Yeah, exactly. Like at the end of the day, if you're making art for anyone other than yourself, I don't think you're. I think you should evaluate why you're making art.
All art,
especially in this day and age.
All art, no matter how niche or how commercial, treads on a tightrope of product and expression.
Exactly.
There is no art that is purely product, and there is no art that is purely expression.
100%.
Even if something's the most fucking designed by committee, meant to offend no one and appease everyone on a base level, like a fucking Marvel movie.
Oh god, yeah.
There is an artistic statement being made there because the purpose of the artist is to insert politique into the work.
Yeah.
So long as an art says something and isn't like the color green on a screen for several minutes, that is both art and product.
Yeah, 100%. Like listen, you can listen. All you fucking harshball noise artists out there think you're not like a product, at least a little bit. You are.
Oh man, no one wants to listen to my album, so it's like fucking. It's the most artistic statement. Why are you charging money for it, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you selling shirts?
Like,
why are you trying to make a career out of it?
This is my biggest thing. This is my biggest thing of why I quit music for now. I don't know if I'll go back. I want to go back and be a vocalist. I just don't know if I want to spend that much time doing it. I at least want to do an online thing, but I don't know if I want to like have to go practice and have to get ready for a show and have to waste a full fucking day at the venue.
Fucking singing in the shower is the purest form of art because it exists purely for oneself. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, you fucking weirdos.
Put that in your pipe and
quit
smoke
fetishizing art as an expression that exists only to exist.
This is something I've wanted to talk to you about for a little bit. I don't know if we've talked about it before. I talked about it with Matt a lot though.
Yeah.
So there's this video idea that I want to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know when to do it or anything like that.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the toxicity behind poor mental health in art in general.
Sort of like the romanticization of artists suffering.
So my biggest thing for me was when I was in Scourged, my biggest thing that I would do is when I was writing lyrics, I would wake up on my day off and I would not drink anything, not eat anything, not smoke, nothing. I would do nothing and then I would start writing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed to eat, drink, or smoke until after I was done with a song. Well, just like writing the lyrics of a song. Now, A, suck dick. B, all the songs I wrote suck dick.
Because they're all about, man, I want to get something out so that I can get to the pleasures.
Exactly. And not only that, but I would have to go back and edit them all like so much that they're almost unrecognizable. Like it did not help anything. And like there was the main reason why I started thinking about this, and I really should have done it earlier, was when Kanye released his last album. It was this whole like I'm gonna stop taking my bipolar meds and stuff like that, and he started going on that sort of like.
Are you talking about the Christian album or the non-Christian album?
I forget. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
The one with the where it's more about his actual mental struggles. Is Yay, whereas Jesus is King is the one
not Jesus is King. It was
fucking nutter butter.
Yeah, yeah. But like he, in recent years in general, if you've been on Twitter, you've seen Kanye being Kanye.
Yes.
And whether you agree with him or not is subjective. But what isn't subjective, I feel like, is the fact that he at this point feels like he needs to forego his mental health to make a statement.
Yes. And
that's fucked up that's happening, and that is a thing that
there is a tremendous fetishization of suffering.
Yes, especially in art, especially like in general society, there's a little bit of it, but in art especially, there's such a huge fetishization.
Well, there's I think that sort of ties back into the moral relativism of what I was talking about, where the idea is that by making art with suffering, the idea of the starving artist, you are making art with something more to say. Exactly. Because you are conveying your suffering through your art. Yeah. When that's equally if not less likely than I'm making this so that I can eat. Yeah. In the idea of the literal starving artist, the notion that artist is going to be making this as an expression of their suffering and not, that spectrum tightrope of art versus product, expression versus product. The idea that because someone is having a bad time, be it like literal starvation or mental health or whatever, the notion that they're making it in that bad time as something more inherently expressive and less as something that is a product in the hopes that it can get them out of that dark period is weirdly warped to one way.
Yeah.
When at best it's equally likely, but I think more likely it is a quote unquote cry for help.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you see all this all the time, especially in rap, where it's like, oh, yo, once he got big, he fell off.
Well, part of that is that rap as a genre has always prized earnestness and
that is true.
A certain level of reality above all else.
That is true.
That's why oh god, what's the name? I think Just a Friend by Biz Markie.
Oh yeah.
Like he's playing the piano like shit. He's singing out of key, but it's so fucking honest to what he is. Like it's just a big fat dude just wailing you, and like you believe him.
Yeah.
And gangster rap very much, even though it was a heightened reality of
of gang violence.
It was a heightened reality, but it was still, there was a sense of reality. There was a grittiness to it. And then with bling rap, a lot of it came from rappers who were already successful. And there was, again, this heightened reality to it, but there was still at its core a sense of reality. And even now with cloud rap, you see a sense of reality with people
100%.
talking about doing Xannies.
Drinking lean and shit.
Drinking lean. Because you get the
even though I don't think anyone's talked about drinking lean in cloud rap really in the past couple of years.
I don't think anyone's talking about drinking lean for a while.
Yeah.
I believe that Little Xan is on Xanax because he sounds like shit, and no one who's not on Xanax would release that.
Opinions, folks. We're allowed to have them.
Here I said I wasn't going to shit on people.
Yeah, you said that. But
I don't think I've heard a single Little Xan song. I'm just doing that because it's the meme.
I have, and let me tell you, you're not far off. I'm gonna be honest. I know you like him, but like...
There's a certain... Even when the art is sort of toxic in the way of it represents bad ideas.
Yeah. I mean, like, you see it all the time in metal, where it's like, where it represents, like, shit.
There is still a certain perceived honesty to it.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a notion, especially with metal compared to rap.
Yes, 100%.
There's a notion of, this is what's inside this person's head.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, this is what this person has lived through.
Yeah, like, Census Fail is a great example of that. Because the reason why Census Fail was so loved, because, like, I mean, listen, I love Census Fail. All my heart. Buddy Nielsen's one of the vocalists that made me want to do music and pursue music. But Census Fail, I love them, is not much different from any other post-hardcore band around that time.
Yeah.
They're just not. I love them because of nostalgia. I don't love them because they're different. But they're good. I like what they make. But the reason why a lot of people like them at that point in time, why they got a lot of praise, is because they weren't writing songs from the perspective of like, oh, I've lived this. Yeah. Like, like every other post-hardcore band's like, oh, I broke up with this girl and I'm sad, whatever.
Well, yeah, to bring it back to new metal, Chester Bennington had a very hard life.
Yeah. In you can, not to say that like it's bad to write from your own perspective. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying though is that Census Fail was very open about the fact that they were like, no, I write poems about like other people and then I make them into songs. They were very open about the fact of like Buddy was like, this is not my life. I am not writing about my life. I'm writing about other things that I've seen around me and then making them into stories. And like that's why I really liked them, was because I was like, oh, you're not just like complaining.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is not, again, I love complaining sad music. Listen, Corbo.
Oh, absolutely.
Corbo knows this better than anybody. I love complaining sad music. Yeah, I mean, everybody does.
But I put on Kid A after a bad day.
Yeah, man, I put on a little bit of a little peep.
I put on a little Electric Wizard when I'm angry. Your emotions can dictate what music you're into. That's completely fine. Yeah.
It's funny because, like, you see people... My favorite thing always in high school was, like, I'll walk into school listening to fucking like Suicide Silence or some shit.
Yeah.
And people are like, how do you listen to that angry music at this early? And I'm like, bro, this is my
because I'm up this early, motherfucker.
Because I'm up at 7 a.m., you bitch.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think especially for metalheads, this is a big thing. Is like our normal is set to just that sound.
Yeah.
Like that sound does not have a time code.
Because it rings true on a certain level for you.
Yeah.
Even if you're not angry in the moment, you understand where the anger comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Like I understand like what, especially with hardcore, because like I listen, I sing the praises of hardcore and folk punk a lot because I love those genres.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I do a lot, and but with hardcore especially, I sing that praise because I think that it truly is the predecessor of the new big punk, because punk is not dead. Punk's never been dead. It's
been
sleepy.
more or less alive at certain points, but it's never been properly dead.
Exactly.
I think punk is more an attitude than it is a genre.
Exactly, 100%. It's more of a culture, and
it's like DIY. It's never been a genre.
Exactly, and I love, like, the reason why I say the new big punk is because punk is still alive, but it has the same attitude of being punk. It has the same like vitriolic anger of politics and the criticisms of big government and small government, and of people being shitty to those around them and those with less than and stuff like that. Like it has the same values of punk, but in just a different delivery form.
Nazi punks fuck off. It's always been left wing.
Exactly, it's always been left wing. I still don't understand how people are like just now figuring that out.
Yeah.
Like I see posts on Facebook and shit, which I see people on Twitter and Facebook being like, "Wait, Rage Against the Machine is a leftist band?" And it's like, you fucking, what the fuck did you think he meant by some of those who burn crosses, or some of those with badges saying burn crosses, or whatever the lyric is. Like,
well, some of that is that America has an inherent romanticization of underclass.
That is true.
Or of underdogs, rather.
Yeah.
I've made this point to a few different people. If you made Star Wars, I'm gonna cite it back to that because it's a culturally relevant touchstone. I kind of fucking hate Star Wars these days, but if you made Star Wars in the height of the British Empire or the height of the Roman Empire, it would be appalling because it's anti-establishment. Yeah, but America is fundamentally founded on a somewhat anti-establishment basis.
Yeah, that was the whole point of it at the start.
So America has this thing for underdogs, and it kind of has to see itself as an underdog a lot of the time. Yeah. So with American media and even American foreign politics, there is a worship of the underdog. And this is ingrained into a lot of people. So when people who are Nazis or any other disgusting section of humanity want to frame themselves, a lot of the times they have to walk this tightrope of simultaneously saying, this is an opinion that can reach a lot of people. Like, this is what everyone's quietly thinking. You hear that a lot with 2016's election, the silent majority. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, framing themselves as the underdog.
And, like, the victim.
And so punk music, the punk sensibility, has an appeal to a lot of different groups, even if they do not fuck with the politics of the most active punk bands, like Dead Kennedys or Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. I mean, Dead Kennedys had one line in one song that was kind of construed as anti-liberal, and that's the one that people fucking cling to.
Oh, of course.
If they don't fuck with the Kennedys' politics. It's one line in Holiday in Cambodia.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're a college liberal who doesn't know shit about the world. Because a lot of college liberals don't know shit about the world.
Yeah.
Because a lot of college liberals come from rich white backgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't necessarily anti-left politics when he said that. I think the TV made it to
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back there. It's fine. I got this. Yeah. I'm a professional podcast.
You host it.
I'm a professional podcast.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to get around this camera somehow.
Fine. That's fine. I'll cut it.
All right, lady. Yeah, cut this all out. Don't say anything important. Or don't cut this. It might be funny. My
Social Security number is.
Oh fuck! Oh jeez. Don't tell nobody where I live. They're still angry about the glitch comment.
But I think a big thing is that here's the big thing is that So I watched this Run the Jewels interview.
Yeah.
And specifically with Killer Mike and LP and the people.
Killer Mike, one of the fucking realest out there.
I fucking love him. And also talking with Hot 97's crew. I don't know who the fuck they are, but there's a bunch of people.
Who the fuck you're talking about.
There's a bunch of people. It's apparently a radio station, I think in New York.
Okay.
But they were interviewing them both, and they asked one of the guys on the crew apparently disagreed with Killer Mike's politics. This is during the 2016 election, by the way.
Okay.
About how
this is the political episode.
Yes. Oh, dude, they are aware. Yeah. I talk about punk and hardcore. Okay, well, they're aware.
Then if we're making political statements, trans rights are human rights. Exactly. Kill your landlord. Trans
rights, human rights. Kill your landlord.
Brought to you I guess the better statement is trans liberation now.
True.
All the trans people out there, you're valid. You're deserving of love. All the cis people out there, be kind to the trans people, but you're also valid and deserving of love.
True. And so he was because Mike's whole thing was that he was like, well, since Bernie is now out of the race, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It was more like he was mad because Bernie was out of the race, and the other guys shared the view of like, well, you should still vote for Hillary because Hillary is the greater of two evils. And Mike's point of view was, yeah, you as a white person can choose the greater of two evils. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm a black. He was like, he said, I think the almost exact quote was like, I'm a black man in America. I don't get to choose the greater of two evils. I just get the choice.
You have two bad outcomes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no lesser there.
Exactly.
It's two bad outcomes.
And I think that's the biggest thing that separates the liberal and leftist is that a lot of times with leftist ideologies, it is you should do it this way. This will be the better way. This will be the way that includes and helps more people. And that should be the way that it works. Or in liberal people who are like, well, we can, kind of vibe either way. And it's like neither is. I'm personally leftist, but neither is necessarily more valid than any other. But if that's why you see a lot of self-hatred and like infighting in the left side of the spectrum.
I think the one of the greatest lies / untruths ingrained in the American psyche is that you have a duty as your brother's keeper to, if someone's wrong, if someone's fundamentally misconceived, that you can meet them and that you can either change their view or you can find a common ground between them. It need be said, if the dichotomy is, I think that gay people have a right to exist versus I don't think gay people have a right to exist, there's no fucking middle ground.
No.
You are not under burden to convince the people against your right to exist that you have a right to exist.
Exactly.
It is okay to believe that other people are a lost cause politically.
100%.
It is okay to not try to compromise with someone who is against your very human rights.
Yeah, 100%.
And I say that some people already know.
Yeah.
Some people have already been to an area that is not politically aligned with them.
Yeah.
They have been online at all. They have been the personal target of discrimination.
Yeah.
Those people I don't need to tell that to.
Yeah.
But I think especially we sort of keep coming back to suburban white kids.
Yeah.
If you were raised in that background, you were told, find the middle ground, compromise.
Yeah.
This sort of enlightened fucking centrism that we teach American kids, it is bullshit.
It is 100% bullshit.
If someone's stance is fundamentally unreasonable on a human's rights basis, you have no moral, ethical, or political responsibility to find a middle ground with that person. You can declare them a lost cause, and you should declare them a lost cause.
On that note, listen to My Agenda by Dorian Electra.
Good album. Good album.
Yeah, and I mean, they kind of talk about that, like in a good amount in that album, in a sense, in like a weird sense of just like gay rage, like the front half of that album. And I'm a fan of that sound.
I'm of the opinion that America is getting politically divided down the middle.
Yeah,
and we're sort of being pushed into this place of two different countries.
Yeah,
and I think that to some extent, is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to lead to greater unrest down the line. But at the same time, you are not morally on the hook to fix this. You cannot fix this, and in certain cases, you should not try.
100%. Yeah.
That is another one of the great lies of American culture, is the idea of personal responsibility on issues that are fundamentally societal.
Exactly.
The idea that you, by driving an electric car and by recycling, can change climate change,
Yeah.
when 7 companies contribute to 90% of it.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Like, that's what I've always been saying, is that, like, yeah, it is a great notion to own an electric car. It is
Yes.
a great notion to recycle.
It's a very good thing to do.
Yes, 100%.
But you are not fixing climate change by doing it.
Exactly. You are not helping contribute to the saving of the planet by doing it. What you should be doing is you should be harassing these companies.
Yes.
Who are fucking
You
up
should
the
be
planet.
lobbying for people who will harass these companies. You should be voting for them.
Exactly.
And even then, you don't control it.
Yeah.
Your vote does not matter.
Yeah.
You should still vote, especially in your local elections, which have the actual impact.
Exactly.
However, it is not, and it has never been, your personal responsibility to change and fix these things. You should do what you can. You should not eat beef. However, you personally not eating beef will not topple the dairy and beef industry. Do not hold yourself personally responsible for this. Do not flagellate yourself. Do not consider yourself a bad person because you can't convince the people around you that trans rights are human rights. If that's the case, it is okay to accept that it is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
You are not morally beholden to the bettering of America.
Yeah. I was in fucking Montana this week.
Yes.
That was
oh,
wild.
God.
That was wild shit. Like, I walked into a grocery store with a mask on. I felt like a fucking tourist.
Yes.
Like, I did not feel like I belonged.
I absolutely think we're reaching a point where there are two different Americas.
Yeah, 100%. In a lot of ways, I think like, it was interesting. Because I mean, listen, I'm a fucking Seattle baby. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm a fucking Washington, Seattle
raised
baby.
here my whole life.
Exactly. And, like, I am that stereotype of a fucking, like, leftist person born in Seattle. Shocking. Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
I have only ever been to Oregon, California, Idaho, and fucking Florida. Those are all the places I've been to.
That's a bit of a non sequitur.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is, like, I have never really been anywhere where I felt so out of place.
Yeah.
Like, Florida, even Florida, it's big enough. And I went to Disney World there. It wasn't like I was walking around the town or anything.
Even when I went to Ohio and Pennsylvania, like, I saw Trump stickers and signs, yeah, but, like, it was not a different world.
Yeah, Montana was weird.
Yes.
Because I first of all, if you're from, like, Washington or anywhere very mountainy, I went into Montana and I could see for, like, miles.
Oh, yeah, being in Ohio,
it
was inconceivably flat.
Yeah, it wigged me the fuck out, being able to see for, like, a couple miles.
Yeah.
Like, that was weird, because I've lived in fucking, like, Auburn, like, Federal Way Valley area for, like, a lot of my life.
That's something, if you're not from Washington, it's hard to understand. There is green or hill no matter where you look.
Not even like hill, it's like trees, it's like hills with trees on them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is that even in Montana there was, like, hills, but they were, like, just flat hills, no trees.
Yeah.
Just grass. And it was like, that's fucking weird. Because I'm used to trees being all over the goddamn place.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, yeah.
One of those things that you just sort of take for granted.
100%. Like, Kyle told me, like, a million times, like, yo, like, Washington's kind of one of the only states that are like that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we went to Montana. I'm like, oh, fuck. He's like, Washington is, like, one of the only states that are like that. Because holy shit. It wigged me the fuck out just being able to see for a couple miles. Anyways, though, back on the topics.
Well, welcome to Washington. We're green. We have coffee that we're elitist about, even though it's not better.
Yes.
And our drivers are psychos.
Yep. We're not socios.
Not sociopaths, just psychopaths. Ohio is full of the fucking sociopaths. I was there for not 24 full hours before we got into a fucking car accident that wasn't our fault. True fucking story there.
That is a true story.
I landed on the plane. I got picked up. My good friend Kyle Kyle from Ohio. Because we know like 7 Kyles.
We do know like 7 guys.
Kyle from Ohio, also known as Cranky.
Cranky.
Picked me up at the airport. We took a slight detour into East Cleveland unintentionally, which is where you go if you want to get shot.
Yeah.
We went to a supermarket and we wanted to buy alcohol, but we couldn't because it's banned after a certain hour in Ohio.
Classic.
Because they're a red state. Fuck red states.
Well, I mean, it's banned here too, but that's at like 2 a.m.
We were, I think it was midnight.
Oh god, that's pretty early.
Yes, I think it was also like certain days of the week they don't sell it either.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're one of those.
And then they don't have legal weed there, which is fucking a bummer.
Yeah.
Which is also super funny because not to narc, but Kyle smokes fucking constantly. Kyle is one of the most weed reliant people I know.
Dude, it was so funny being in Montana because Montana you can get it if you have a card. But I think in October they the people we talked to were saying that they were rolling over to full recreational. But as of right now they only have a medical.
A, should be free rec everywhere.
True.
B, free the fucking people in prison for it.
True.
For fuck's sake.
100 fucking %.
Even Washington still has people in prison for it. Get them fucking out of there.
True. And so Cooper walks into this like medical weed place because he's he wants to get a couple joints for himself, and he's like, "Yo, can I get a couple joints?" And they're like, "Yo, your card?" And so he pulls out his ID, and they're like, "No, your card."
Oh fuck!
And he's like, I am not from here. What is the situation here?" And they're like, "Oh, you can only get medical weed." And he's like, this is when I specifically, he's like, this is when I knew I had a dependency. Is because I got really mad in like 2 seconds, in 0.2 seconds, and then I was like, calm the fuck down. I was like, it's okay, my man, thank you. And he like walked out, and he told us that, and I was like, that's really funny. And he was like, honestly, he was also honestly fine. It was still a good vibe in time. We just got some booze, and we just drank a lot. So
yeah, so Kyle picked me up. We couldn't get booze.
Yeah,
so we went back to his place and we watched fucking cringe videos.
Oh god!
While falling. We watched cringe videos while drinking a mixture of Lipton and vodka before falling asleep.
Fucking Lipton and vodka.
And then the first day there, he wanted to take me to a restaurant that he'd been cock teasing me with for the past year, which we did, and it was good.
Nice.
I ate close to 4 pounds of food. Like, not joking.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's not an exaggeration.
The Melt in Ohio, it's good. I got the Melt Challenge, which is a 12 cheese grilled cheese, 1.5 pounds of fries, and 1.5 pounds of coleslaw. And I ate everything but about a 1/2 pound of the coleslaw.
Sheesh.
Yeah. At which point I was like, if this was anything but coleslaw, I'd have fucking finished this challenge. I'm not a fan of coleslaw, but we get back, I'm in a food coma, and I just sort of hang in a food coma for a while watching shitty anime. Hello, it's me, fat old weeb. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take my girlfriend and you out to a bar. We're gonna get schnasty."
Nah.
And I was like, "Sick." We go to the bar. We pick up. His girlfriend comes along, who's very lovely.
Nice.
She might end up watching this. Maybe,
really?
Maybe not. She's very lovely. She's also incredibly short.
Damn. Called out.
We go to a bar, and this is still less than 24 hours since landing. We're at a fucking intersection. We have to brake somewhat abruptly, and a fucking lady slams into us. Less than 24 hours in Ohio, I have now been involved in an automobile accident. And of course, she's like fucking screaming and crying because it's not her car. They're not her kids that are in there with it. So like, and we're like, we're not going to press charges. It's like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I
understand you're still like, we don't control whether or not you get in trouble with the law, but like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're okay from us.
Yeah.
Cops pull us over, or no, cops, come to the parking lot with us, and they ask us questions. And I look down as this lady is crying, and like, there are 3 kids, like ages like 3 to 12 around her. And I realize I'm wearing a shirt that says Tropical Fuckstorm on it. And I'm like, it had to be the day that I'm getting questioned by a police officer. I had to be wearing this fucking t-shirt.
Oh, no.
Which I got from one of their concerts. Go see them in concert. They're good.
They're really good.
It was the best show I've ever been to.
I wish I was able to see them live. They're really good though.
Yeah, hopefully they're still touring once all this ends.
Yeah, I hope so.
I got my first jab today. Hopefully that makes it end a little quicker.
Yeah.
But
I'm getting my jab this week at some point.
Nice. We got to the bar, and we're all just sort of sitting there in like that post crash haze, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like getting schnasty tonight. And Kyle's like, yeah. So we just sort of fucking drive back home.
Oof.
Way to kill a mood, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sadly, automobile accidents kind of killed the mood.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a little bit.
I remember, I shouldn't talk when I'm leaning forward like that.
Yeah.
I remember going up one Christmas to, I guess he was my great-grandfather.
Okay, yeah.
When he was still alive, my Papa Bruce. Going up to visit him one Christmas, and me and my sister were in my dad's car.
Yeah.
And my little baby brother Josh, who was like, I think maybe 3 at the oldest at this point.
Yeah.
In my mom's minivan with her. And my mom got into the nastiest accident that I have ever been directly or indirectly involved with, which is she hit a patch of black ice on the freeway, and she spun out and slammed into the guardrail.
Ooh.
It was very nasty. It like the only time I've ever been in an accident, I've ever been even close to an accident that's like fully totaled the car in question.
Ooh.
It was terrifying, especially because I was like maybe 5 at the time.
Ooh.
And then like that whole Christmas just sort of had like the sort of the hangover of the car accident over it.
Around the
Christmas tree and I'm traumatized for life. Yeah, it's that kind of energy.
Yeah, you know, just a little bit of traumatization.
Yeah,
nothing big. Fucking.
I think to cut you off one final time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the funniest thing about the Cleveland accident was literally the intersection before the lady next to us had like a very cute little dog in her window. And I leaned out of the window and I shouted at the dog, I would die for you, you know. And then that lady at the next intersection saw us get fucking rear-ended.
That's a fucking TikTok somewhere. That has to be.
For all she knows, I did die.
For all she knows, you died for her dog.
Yeah.
It could have been her.
It could have been her.
It could have been her that got hit. But you took the brunt.
I took the hit for the dog.
Exactly.
To be fair, he was a beautiful little boy.
What kind of
dog? I love him. Oh, I want to say it was Beagle.
Oh, beautiful boy.
They're very beautiful, but they're nasty.
Oh, I love them though.
I had a friend when I lived in Puyallup back in the day. Very white trash town. Don't go there.
True.
But my next door neighbor that I used to visit all the time, his family did rescue dogs.
Oh, nice.
And they mostly did pugs, which is where I learned that pugs are A, adorable, and B, an abomination against God.
Yes, 100%.
But the one time they had a dog that wasn't a pug, it was a beagle, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I read the Shiloh books as a kid, which is about a beagle dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love you, lovely boy. And then he would fucking jump up on you and he would like bite your fingers in your face. He was the meanest, angriest dog I've ever known. But he was a beagle, so it was like, I love you, lovely boy.
So I grew up with Basset Hounds.
Oh, good dogs.
Great dogs. So they are very, very pretty dogs. They are not the smartest dogs.
Oh yeah.
So I lived on a sailboat at one point in my life in Seattle.
Fucking hell.
Fucking great.
You have been around.
I have been around. It was a good experience though. I didn't mind it. Yeah, no, it was a little crowded because we had 2 Basset Hounds and then my mom and dad and me. But so then one day. This is how it's been told to me. I don't know if this is exactly what happened. This is how
you're young.
Oh yeah. I'm like 2nd grade.
Okay.
So I have like memories, but not like a lot. You know.
I'm the same way.
So, I was like sitting around, you know, vibing, playing with my action figures.
As a 2nd grader does.
Playing my action figures, making the Transformers fuck, and
Starscream. That's my access port.
I haven't had my wee sucked in a minute. You know the video?
No,
I
don't know what you're talking about. You're effectively a fucking insane person right now.
Like fucking, oh god, what was it? It was from a fucking movie. It was the one that has that's like a boombox body.
Okay.
And someone just put like a fucking auto-tune Microsoft Sam voice with just I haven't got my like I haven't got my wee wee sucked in a long time. I'll have to try to find it. If I find it, it'll be in the description.
My favorite thing from those Transformers movies is when Optimus Prime rips a man's face off and says, "Give me your face."
Those are my favorite parts. Favorite part especially is when Bumblebee just decides to start killing humans. Like,
I mean, Bumblebee also pees on a man.
this is true.
And then Optimus says, "Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man."
Bumblebee, please cease.
Bumblebee, stop it. Fucking stop it.
So, anyways, though, so I was on the sailboat. I was vibing, making the Transformers fuck, all that jazz, playing with toy soldiers and shit.
Cool shit.
And someone knocks on our I want to say door, but it was really just an overhead hatch.
Yeah.
But someone knocks on their hatch, and my mom, I think, is it my mom or that? I don't know. It was my dad. My dad opens it, and it was our neighbor, and he was like, "Yo, your dog like totally jumped off your boat."
Oh Jesus!
We were like, "Oh yeah?
Oh no!
Yo, word!" And so we all like
news
run
bulletins
out.
you never want to get.
Yeah. So we like run out. We get up the hatch and we see this like fucking bass hound just like doggy paddling out of the harbor.
He wanted to be free.
Yeah, her name was Maddie. She was dumb as fuck.
She wanted to be
Dumb
free.
as fuck. But the sweetest dog ever.
Yeah.
Dumb as fuck. And so we got in our dinghy.
That perfect intersection of vegetable, mineral, and animal.
Yeah. So we got in the dinghy. We rowed ourselves over, so we didn't want to like possibly pass her and have the motor like get a little too close.
Yeah.
Or her to get like a little too interested in the motor.
Oh god, yeah.
And so we rowed over, and she wasn't too far out, so we rowed over. But here's the thing: Basset hounds are fucking long and they're heavy.
Yes.
They're
yeah.
a lot heavier than they look. And so my dad like trying to pull this like this wet bass hound out, because like another thing you have to understand is my dad, again, 80s punk kid. All of his friends were skaters, so whenever we'd hang out with his friends, he was like, "Listen, you're gonna hear a lot of things your mom doesn't want you to know.
Oh yeah.
Just don't repeat it in front of her or your grandparents or at school, and we're good."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Cool, Dad, I got you, friend." And so I just really didn't, because I was like, I don't want to narc on my dad. And and so but this was the time where I heard my dad just like fucking in front of my mom, just like, "You fucking bitch, get in the fucking like just go full dad."
That moment where dad just completely loses the kid filters.
Yeah, just like, "Get in the fucking boat. What is wrong with you? Are you fucking dumb as rocks?" I was like, "Dad, she's cute though."
I had one of those as a kid. It was not my dad.
Okay, yeah.
But I heard someone else's dad lose the kid filters.
Oh, those are great too.
In Puyallup, again, white trash town.
True.
One of our neighbors, they had a duplex.
Oh yeah.
And the duplex pair fought constantly.
Oh no.
Like fucking.
Oh no.
There was never a point where the two different duplex families were not at each other's throats.
Oh no.
And my sister and I were out playing in our front yard. And we both distinctly heard the phrase, "If you're going to be a bitch, close the goddamn motherfucking door." And we both just looked at each other like, "Ha! Adult stuff!
Adult stuff!
Wow! We learned new words today!"
Oh my god. Yeah, no, just those specific moments where like adults decide to stop giving a shit.
Well, I don't think they knew we were there, but like that moment where it's like, they knew there were kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They knew that they could be heard.
Yeah.
And the filters came the fuck off.
One of my oh god. Yeah, no, those types of situations where it's like, oh, like I had this one time. So I have sleeping issues. That's why I work overnight. It's why I stream in the middle of the night.
Correct.
And so I have fucking problems in my brain dome. So
we all do, bud.
Yeah. And at the time, I was just like, they just started like coming to oh no, this is like a problem.
Oh yeah, like the moment where your mental illness really just like comes forward.
Yeah, into the forefront of your brain at a younger age. Like I think I was in like 3rd grade or something like that, 3rd or 4th grade, and or no, it might have been 5th. Anyways, and like in my sleeping problems, it got to a point where I was like, oh no, you have like problems.
Yeah.
And so I just like couldn't sleep. And so I just didn't at my grandma's house.
Yeah.
And again, in Puyallup. And
a wonderful place where dreams are made.
Place. Dreams are made.
I had to fight off ducks when I went to the park. I had to fucking throw hands with ducks.
Ducks. And my and when she woke up, I was still awake watching something.
Yeah.
And
that late AM TV.
Yeah, and like no, it was like 6 a.m.
Well, that early AM TV.
Yeah, like the shitty like morning shows.
Yeah.
And
mostly infomercials.
Yeah, and she was like, "Why are you up?" And I was like, "I couldn't sleep." And so I just came out here. I was in my bed till like 3 a.m. and then I just came out here.
Yeah.
And then she went to the bathroom, came back out and said, and went like, "Tucker, pack your shit up and go to bed." I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, she's mad. Okay, Grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom, I'll go to bed."
Okay, Gam Gam.
And then I went to bed and slept exactly, literally, I'm not even kidding, 2 hours, and then woke up.
Nice.
And then she was like, "I thought you'd sleep more." I'm like, "Yeah. You remember the time I said I had sleeping issues? Maybe it's that. Maybe that's a contributing
Maybe
factor.
I'm not bullshitting you.
Maybe I'm not lying about my mental illnesses. Maybe it's just older generations.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Back in my day, they beat it out of you.
Yeah. Back in my day, they argued whether mental illnesses barely existed or not.
And whether it was demons.
Yeah, whether it was demons or not. Fucking like when I was a kid, I got diagnosed with ADHD in my fucking 5th grade class, and my mom had to like argue and fight, like yelling fight, like earth-shattering argument with my stepdad to allow him to even like bring me to the fucking person who could diagnose me.
Yeah, you see, in that situation, I never got to diagnosis.
Yeah, and listen, I got diagnosed with ADD. I know now there's like I
still to this day have never ever met a psychiatrist.
I mean, that's fair. Like,
even though I've been having a borderline mental breakdown for the past year and a half.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, listen, I know it's not like the pandemic that's doing it to you, but the pandemic doesn't help.
The pandemic does not help. It does not help the feelings of hopelessness, certainly.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think the general political like scape in general also definitely does not help with the feeling of like hopelessness in a lot of ways.
All right, hold on, we're gonna cut here because I need to scratch my fucking crotch.
Okay, we're gonna cut.
Cut that out.
Cut the balls out.
Don't let the people know I got a pee-pee.
Don't let the people know. I thought they know I'm a Ken doll.
Yeah. Certainly. Oh God, what the fuck were we saying?
I was saying that like that you've been having like a mental like kind of breakdown for the past year and a half. That's saying like, the pandemic isn't helping, the socio-political world scale right now also doesn't help.
Okay, yeah. So with the political side of that, like, it's kind of amazing how touchy Uncle Joe can come in and do the bare fucking minimum in that race at the bar.
Yes.
Like, literally just reinstating protections against trans discrimination healthcare.
Yep.
Expanding Amtrak lines.
Yeah.
Like, the bare fucking minimum is what Uncle Joe is doing, and Uncle Joe is still blowing like the past president out of the water 100%. So much is not funny. It's like, oh God, I feel hope again?
Holy shit, I feel like an amazing amount of like serotonin in my body.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Beans, what the fuck?
That fucking the trans LGBTQ anti-discrimination law in particular was literally like, wow, he is doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
He is not expanding hate crime definitions. He's not, expanding trans rights.
No.
He is literally re-ratifying a law that makes it so that if you are a medical provider, you can't deny healthcare to trans and gay people. And some fucking how, that's raising the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
We've sunk so fucking low that bare minimum works.
Exactly. We've sunk so fucking low in our general like thoughts of like, oh, like leaders can do things.
Yeah.
That like, oh wow, he's doing things. And it's the bare minimum.
We've officially reached the words.
We've
officially reached the point where any positive trans legislature, no matter how minor, is a step forward.
100%. Yeah, no, we've officially reached that point of where it's like, that you could do anything. You could sneeze into a book and write like the minimal amount of trans rights or just anything about trans individuals having more protections, and it would be like, wow, fucking amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Uncle Joe says trans rights. Not that they're human rights. He just says trans rights.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
More country again.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's just, it's interesting how American politics have devolved to this state of like, of both sides being shit in different ways.
Well, it's interesting. You compare it to a lot of countries where the U.S. has intervened politically in the past, like Brazil or Argentina.
Yeah.
And their current political system is basically they will have 3 or 4 election cycles where they will elect an increasingly liberal candidate. Yep. And they'll push things a little further to the center left every year.
Yep.
And then to compensate for that, they will elect a fascist.
Yep.
Just every 3 or 4 election cycles, they veer the fuck back.
Yep.
To literal fascism.
Yep. Every fucking time. And it's either that or they go full like fucking anarcho-communist.
I mean,
like basically. Works. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
If that's how you live, that's how you live, brother. Like, I don't know.
Like Brazil in particular, from 1964 to 1985, they were under the rule of a military dictatorship.
Yeah.
Because of U.S. intervention, because they believed that communism was on the rise.
Didn't that happen recently with what was it? Argentina? I thought it was Venezuela that happened recently with
where there was a U.S. coup.
Yeah, where there was a coup happening or some shit.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah. I remember that.
After the military dictatorship in Brazil lifted, which was a period marked by excessive human rights abuses, active torture, exiling, if not execution of political dissidents, state-sponsored and CIA-sponsored political violence against left-leaners, mass media censorship, just all the sort of host of shit that fascists with the mask on say they're not in favor of, but mask off they're totally in favor of.
Oh, yeah. They're totally in favor of a Brave New World type shit, and they
so
say
long
they
as it
aren't.
benefits them.
Yeah, so long as it benefits them.
They will cry 1984, the second UD platform, a fucking Nazi group that's literally saying they want to kill all the blacks and gays.
Yeah, I cry.
But then the second that you give them that platform back, they're back to saying they want to kill the blacks and gays.
Yep.
But yeah, after this 21-year period of fucked up shit, the dictatorship lifted, and they started to move back towards where they were before for a couple years. There's still a lot of the lingering effects of that dictatorship in place.
Of course.
And then somewhat recently, they've elected another literal fascist.
Woo! Let's go.
It never ends, this shit.
It never ends, this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story of U.S. intervention in any country, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, there was on Twitter, I will not try to quote this because I will misquote it and I'll feel bad.
Yeah.
But the guy who threw the shoe at George Bush,
our hero.
Yeah, our fucking hero. He was talking about how basically in a paraphrase sense that he was saying like George Bush says that killing my people is good. That killing these people are what we need to be doing, and they're my people. So that's why I threw the shoe. Orphaning 5 million kids, like killing over 1 million people, like widowing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of women. But then he says that we're happy.
Yes.
He says that they're happy.
Oh yeah.
And he says that they're free. Are they really? Yeah. And like that was basically the rundown of the quote, and I was like, yeah. That's American foreign policy.
Which on that subject, free Palestine, fuck Israel.
True.
Me and all my homies hate Israel.
100%. Like, all my homies fucking hate Israel. I see that shit all the time now on Twitter too, because it's like it's like the topic of like, which side are you on? And it's like, if you're not like on the Palestinian side.
I am glad that this most recent string of actions by Israel against Palestine
it's just so egregious.
Has been so egregious and so publicized because Israel has been doing this shit for decades.
100%.
This is not new, people.
No.
Do your fucking research into the history of Israel, and it is a history of violent oppression of the Palestinians.
100%.
This is not new, and I will take this being the thing that catalyzes people.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely. because progress is progress.
No matter when.
But at the same time, this is not recent. These are not new things. It's the same with like fucking the reason why we preserve a lot of like old films and shit where there's blackface and there's racist shit is we need to reinforce this shit isn't history.
No. This is 80 years ago at most.
The grandparents of people boycotting in Montgomery in the civil rights era were slaves.
Yeah.
There is a tendency with American media and American politics when it comes to foreign politics to either push this shit into this is history or this is somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is not history. This is happening right now, and this is happening on the same planet that we are.
Yeah.
Which
100%.
means we're going to have to fucking deal with the consequences.
One of the biggest things that Killer Mike said at one point that really hit me. Like, I was aware of it, but the way he said it, just his voice, because it's Killer Mike and he has a charisma about him. That's
absolutely.
That's so good. He's such a passionate speaker. If you haven't looked up interviews of Killer Mike talking about his politics, it's
one of the absolute realists.
100%. It's fantastic. He was talking about how, he was like my grandmother wasn't free the way that I am.
Yes.
Like, you should, like, that, he's like, that should say something, is that my grandmother was fighting for our freedom, and, like, I knew her. You know what I mean? Like, I knew her personally. Like, you know what I mean?
Some of us have personally met people who witnessed the civil rights movement.
Exactly.
There is such a tendency to make this shit ancient news, but it is not ancient.
Especially the right media, or just the media in general, like to make this be like you're saying, like, oh, it's history.
Yes.
It's something that's not new. It's history. Like, and it's like, no, that's not true. It was fucking 50 years ago.
There are still people alive in this country who knew slaves.
Yeah.
Even if they were not slaves in their lifetime, they had grandparents that were slaves.
Yeah. And that's important to remember. It's like, this isn't ancient history. We're not talking about Egypt.
If we push it to another part of the world.
Yeah.
Or if we push it to this is ancient history, we can compartmentalize it and we can deal with it easier.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of that's a psychological tactic. When you have trauma, is to compartmentalize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is to separate it to a certain extent from the self.
Yeah.
When you do this with any traumatic event, be it traumatic to you personally or traumatic on a societal level like slavery was, it makes it easier to process as an observer.
Yeah.
It doesn't get rid of the trauma for the people who went through it, but as an observer, it makes it easier to go through, which is why even though color photos exist of like Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, people will use black and white.
Exactly.
Because black and white
makes it feel
unconsciously
like
in your head is this is history.
Exactly. It's exactly that. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because if you just like think about it, it's a lot of things like that where it's like if you just think about it, you're like, oh, then that wasn't long ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a hard concept to understand. Like, it wasn't that long ago. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
I saw something. I'm gonna butcher this a little, but it was something like, if Martin Luther King Jr. were still alive today, he would be like in his late 60s.
Yeah.
Like 70s at the oldest. Like,
yeah.
This shit isn't ancient.
No.
Like, there are people. If your grandparents are alive, fucking ask your grandparents what they remember about it.
Yeah, they were alive.
My grandma remembers the Beatles. And if your grandparents remember the Beatles, they remember this shit.
Exactly. They remember that at the point in time in their life. Because it wasn't that far apart.
Your grandparents may have been cool. Your grandparents may still be cool.
Yeah.
But whether or not they're cool, they were there.
Yeah.
If you say this shit is history, it makes it easier for you to compartmentalize because you haven't gone through it.
Exactly. What you should be doing is you should be learning from it. And you should be looking at the failings of what we were. And you should be bettering yourself. And understanding that we're all human and you should give love to everybody who is human. No matter what skin color they are. Fuck that shit. Like, there are things that people have to deal with on a daily life because they're born with a different skin color than like me or you. And we won't know that because we're, both white. and it's like it's fucked up that even is a thing, and that's what this whole like that's what a lot of 2020 the civil rights movement of 2020 so far was about, was that like being a minority shouldn't have to be a painful experience, but it is on a daily on like a daily schedule. It is
a lot of the anti-movement of that
Yeah.
is based on either taking away from the trauma of the experience,
yeah
or tilting it to an audience that is going to compartmentalize it.
exactly 100%.
Because if you change it to the reaction from conservative media generally is either A, systemic racism doesn't exist,
Uh-huh.
which is an inherently racist idea.
Yeah.
It is an idea that is targeted towards people who don't even want to compartmentalize
Yeah.
the ideas of like the civil rights movement. They just want to say, okay, well, people of color are doing this because they're irrational or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But the more common and the more insidious is to devalue it in such a way that you can compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
It is to say like, well, yeah, Black Lives Matter has a point, but look at all this property damage, which exists to say, yes, even if these people are right, it's not your problem.
Ugh.
It's
Yeah.
they are interacting with it badly, which shows that we don't have to change.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's again. I remember. I think you posted this at some point online. It was the full quote of Martin Jr. talking about riots.
Yes, riots are the language of the unheard.
Yes, 100%. I can't remember the quote in my brain at that moment, but yeah, 100%. It's say the fucking full quote.
Yes, people like to use King Jr.'s opposition to riots, but the full quote involves him saying that he is opposed to riots on a fundamental level, but a riot exists because a call or demand has not been met. A riot is fundamentally a language of the unheard. If people are resorting to riots and violence, it is most likely because a basic human dignity that is not something that, it's a fickle thing. Because, like, you look at the right storming the Capitol, and they bent pretty easy when the time came.
Yeah.
Because they were not being denied a fundamental human right. They were not being denied human decency.
No.
They were part of a fucking cult.
Exactly. They're part of a cult, and they were mad that the cult wasn't in power anymore.
A riot with conviction, a riot that stands through tear gas, is a people or peoples that have been denied fundamental dignities and decencies in such a way that they feel they have no other option.
Exactly.
And if you have reached that point, and you have a massive support behind you, if you are not just one person who feels that way, it is most likely not a delusion. It is most likely the result of you having been denied that fundamental decency or dignity.
Exactly. 100%. Like, anyone who can withstand the fucking pain of stun guns or tear gas, it's like, you have to have something on your mind. You have to have something that is really driving you. Because that shit...
People don't get
fucking
martyred
hurts.
because they served the wrong order to them at Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
You have not been denied of fundamental human decency if tear gas backs you down.
Exactly. Like, I remember how quickly they folded at the Capitol. I remember how, like,
Yes.
I remember watching that whole, like, the cops are letting them out. Oh, the cops are walking them down the stairs. And it's like, wow, A, fuck the cops, because there's an obvious bias there. But also, B, fuck you, fucking pussies. Like, it's like they were so ready to, like, quote unquote die on that hill.
And then none of them were ready to die on that hill.
Then none of them were ready to die on that hill.
I think one of them died on that hill.
Yeah. And it was, oh god. That whole thing was such a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I remember waking up. It was like 3 p.m. because I work overnight shifts. And I opened Twitter and being like, what's happening?
I I opened Twitter just sort of as a lark, and I saw Washington, D.C. trending, and I was like, well, that's never a good sign.
No.
Unless it's D.C. statehood.
Yeah. In which case, poggers.
And I looked at it and I was like, okay, there's protests in D.C., and I sort of watched it unfold in real time.
Oh, really?
And my reaction was, I mean, you know, the term doom scrolling is used a lot, but it was just this sense of doom.
No.
I just watching, like, no one had ever done that.
No. And, like, the insanity to me, it was that not necessarily that they were stupid enough to do that. I think they could like do that without getting arrested afterwards. Which, by the way, thank God that some of them are getting arrested. More of them
something like 125 arrests so far.
Yeah, poggers, good. They should. And poggers.
We pog for that one.
We poggies in here for that one. But the matter of the fact is that, like, it is insane that they were able to do it so easily.
Well,
they just fucking walked in.
The fact that they pulled a Confederate flag into the offices of Congress, something that the Southern Army itself never did.
Yeah, exactly.
And they had the fucking audacity to think that the wrath of God would not come down on them for it.
Yeah, that's insane.
How fucking cushioned do you have to be about the idea of the police to live in that headspace?
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. I could never do shit like some shit like that and be like, oh, I'm not going to serve consequences. Like, that's insane. That is insanity. To think that you could pull in the fucking Confederate flag into a fucking
the
capital.
Southern Army didn't make it halfway from the southern border to the halls of Congress.
Yeah.
And you motherfuckers watched march a Confederate flag through the chambers like nothing would happen to you.
It's fucking insanity. This world's insane now.
The world was always insane.
Yeah, it was just.
It's not getting better though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is not getting better. If anything, it's getting slightly worse, slower, which is almost worse because it's just you get to slowly watch it happen in front of your eyes.
We can listen to good music though.
We can listen
to
good music.
Which is the theme of this podcast.
That is true. We generally talk about music. Well, really, it's just talking about art in general, which we also haven't been doing.
Well, art and politics are inseparable.
That's true. That's very true.
Art is political.
Again, like Run the Jewels had another quote. I've been listening to a lot of Run the Jewels recently. Sorry.
Good shit.
It's good shit. And I've been watching a lot of interviews because so when I'm not streaming, it's generally because like either Olivia's hanging out with me or someone else is out here or I just really don't feel like it. Yeah. So I'm usually listening to something while playing a game or something like that, or just relaxing.
Second monitor helps.
Yeah, second monitor helps a lot. And so lately it's been Run the Jewels interviews, and one of the quotes from Killer Mike. Again, this is not an exact quote. I do not have it in front of me. This is a paraphrase. Was like, people are going to start calling us a political rap group, and we are not a political rap group. We don't care what party you align with. We talk about what we think is right morally.
Yes.
And yeah, they're true. You think they're out there fucking talking about the general the fucking general budget for the government for every year? Like no, they're talking about human rights. They're talking about morality, and they're talking about what we should be doing to help our brothers and sisters and our just and family in general as a general United States, and trying to make sure that everybody feels like they are welcomed, regardless of the fact of what you identify as or what your sexuality is or what color your skin is. That's the whole point of this whole thing, is that we're all in this bullshit together. We might as well be in this bullshit together. Like, we're stuck on a rock. Yeah. We're not going anywhere. Sadly enough, until the planet heat deaths us, or until the sun heat deaths us, or the planet does itself, because,
or we fucking destroy it.
Or we fucking destroy it. Like, eventually the star is going to happen, so eventually the star is going to become really big.
Humanity doesn't need to have a finite lifespan to it, but
no,
it's probably gonna.
Yeah, the way that we act, with the way that we decide to operate.
People, like cats, do someday die.
Yes.
But the concept of cats does not have to go away.
Exactly. Cats are too good.
If the cats don't set fire to our house, we will keep the cats.
I was really hoping you said cats. 'Cause I thought you said cats, and I didn't really like equate the two in my brain. So I was like, I think you said cats, and so I said I like cats, and then you were like, you just kept going. I was like, oh thank God, these are fucking cats. Yeah, no.
Well, I did actually have a cat pass away recently.
Oh really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
We're historically a 3-cat household, and our cat Boris passed away.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, he was getting up there, and he was overweight,
Okay, yeah.
and he it was sort of lingering after effects of a surgery he went through, and I had like a week to sort of prepare myself, steel myself. It's still, you never replace the cat.
No.
You replace the cat-shaped hole,
Yeah.
but you never replace the cat. There will never be another Boris
Yeah.
with his stupid mustache and his wide stance.
I mean,
His
yeah, like
loud, petulant bitching at all hours.
I mean, like, yeah, like you knew my last cat, Sybil.
Yeah,
And
lovely lady.
lovely little lady. And we have Gulliver now, lovely little boy.
He's
they are
kind of
not-
a rat fuck.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a rat fuck because we got him when he was a kitten, and
Yeah.
he just got fixed like 2 weeks ago. So he got fixed like 3 weeks ago, but he got the cone off 2 weeks ago. Anyways, he's a little bit of a rat fuck because he's at that age, where he just doesn't give a shit, and he's got energy, so he's just down to fuck with shit, and it's annoying because his fucking cat is so lazy. He doesn't jump. He just claws. He fucking ice climbs his way up surfaces.
I have literally been here for like what, maybe 5 or 6 hours now.
Yeah, probably
He has
5 hours.
tried to bite through the cords of my computer more than a dozen times.
Yeah, and it's just because he's
Rat
interested.
fuck.
I will be sitting over there at my computer, and I'll be sitting there like vibing, streaming, or playing something, and I will feel all 4 claws suddenly enter my leg,
Oh,
and
yeah.
him crawling up, not jumping, crawling
Oh yeah.
up my leg, because he can't be fucked to jump, can't be fucked. He's got to climb, and yeah, he's a beautiful little boy. Nothing like Sybil. Sybil was a sweetheart. Sybil just sat around in
Sybil
one of the
went through
pets.
some shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sybil got kidney failure. Found out what that was, by the way.
Yeah.
Why that happened. Yeah. So we went to a pet store. I actually don't remember the pet store's name, but I wouldn't say it anyways because this is actually like possibly illegal.
Oh.
And so we went to this pet store and we asked them for some dry shampoo for the cat because she could, if you pet her, you were on the shit list for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Or not pet her, but if you gave her a bath, you were on the shit list for the rest of the day, possibly next day. And so we're like, yo, dry shampoo might help just to get like the quick shampoo down, and instead of having to do a full bath. We still do the full bath, but not every like week because that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
So we're like, just a dry shampoo will be kind of good. And so we asked them like, yo, what's a good dry shampoo? They gave us this dry shampoo that had like lavender extract in it, which is very toxic to cats.
Why would they even sell that then?
Right? Like, it wasn't for cats specifically either. It was just general pet things.
What the fuck?
It was really weird. I don't know why, but we looked at the bottle, and we don't have it anymore because we threw it out, obviously. We're like, we don't want to fucking accidentally use this on a cat.
Yeah.
But we looked at it, and it was literally, like, we looked up all the ingredients, and, like, 3 of them were, like, really toxic to cats.
Yeah.
And so we were like, because we were all wondering, like, why the fuck was she kidney failure? Like, because she died of kidney failure. Well, we're like, how the fuck, why? Okay, like, listen, yeah, she was a hobo cat. We got her off the street.
Yeah. She was
But-
already a little broken.
Yeah, but, like, she wasn't, like, full die within a year of you having her broken. Like, she wasn't that bad. So we're like, how the fuck did this happen? And, yeah, we were like, that's the only, like, logical reason, because she never, like, we don't have any plants in here that she could eat.
No.
Because she didn't go in the kitchen. We didn't have any plants at Olivia's parents' house that she could eat and possibly get sick from. Like, she would probably get sick. Like, she possibly ate one plant, but when we got there, the vet, we thought that's what it was. When we got to the vet, they were like, yo, no, her tongue would be like super swollen if it was that, so it's not that. And we're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was kidney failure. And we just were like, out of deducing all the options, like, we're like, I think this is the only one that makes sense. Because we were bathing her. We were using that, like, a lot. Like, almost, like, probably 3, like, or probably, like, 2 times a week. Because fun fact: where we live next to a hoarder.
Oh, good.
Who has fleas.
Oh,
And
good.
They don't clean because they're a hoarder, and so the fleas are constant. So especially at that point in time, so we were washing her all the time to get the fleas to fuck off, and then combing through her. So we were giving her like just dry shampoo more often because we were like, this is easier than giving her a full bath. So we would just dry shampoo and then comb through, and it was just that was the only thing we could think of. Like, it makes no sense because what the fuck would they sell that? But that's the only thing we could think of.
Yeah.
Because it was like what else would poison her kidney so hard? And like, listen,
kidney failure also, it can happen in cats.
Yeah, it can't happen just naturally. So it could have been that.
It sort of depended on if she was fixed.
She was fixed.
If she had any like stones previously.
No.
Yeah.
Not that we knew of. Again, she was a hobo cat for a while, so we don't really know. But
what happened with Boris was he had a stone blocking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when they went in to remove it, they found tears that had happened in the pee-pee hole.
Yeah, in the pee-pee hole.
In the pee-pee hole.
In the pee-pee little piss
I do
hole.
not envy what he went through.
No. Fuck that shit.
And they cleared it out, and they're like, all right, the prognosis is good, but there's a small chance that this could develop into kidney failure.
Oh, really?
And if that happens, it's either he lives on dialysis for the rest of his life, or we put him down.
Yeah.
And so it looked like he was recovering a bit at first, but it sort of turned into kidney failure.
Yeah.
It was
I feel like a lot of cats have kidney failure.
Yes. It turns out that animals, humans and otherwise, we've sort of min-maxed through life.
Yes, we have.
Just about every life form that you see has chosen certain stats to dump and certain stats to invest in.
Yes.
We humans, we have massively developed brains.
Yes.
That allow us to read and do math and appreciate Rick and Morty. But as a trade-off, we're not that long-lived. I mean, we're decently long-lived on the grand scheme of things, but we could be longer-lived.
Yeah.
We're incredibly fragile.
Yes.
We don't have venom.
Again, one good fall.
We don't have pheromones.
Yeah.
Our genitals have been optimized for a very specific kind of breeding that we don't even partake in that often.
Yeah.
So we've chosen to min-max a certain way.
Yeah.
Cats have as well. Dogs have as well. Dogs, most of them have hips and back problems as they get older.
Yep. Cats
have hip problems, but they also their kidneys and their lungs are less well developed.
If you look up like what's toxic to cats, it's like a fucking Bible, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane. It was like specifically lavender itself is like lavender scented things is fine as long as it's not the like essential oil of it.
Yeah.
And it had the essential oil like extract
fucking
what it had. So that's what was in it. It was the lavender essential oil.
I don't know how any pet place could reasonably sell that.
Exactly. That's why I was so confused. Like, how the fuck are you selling this? Again, it could just have happened.
It could have happened. We're not implicating anyone.
Yeah, it's not to say that like, oh, you killed my. Listen, again, it's not to say that that's what happened, but like, it's still insane. Like,
yeah, it's if there was even a risk of it, it's insane that they would sell them.
Yeah, which is why I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, it's a big thing about cats that I learned at that point was that they will not tell you that they're not doing good until they're like almost dead.
Cats will sulk.
Yeah. We did not know that Sybil was not doing okay until the night before we took her in because suddenly she couldn't walk correctly.
Yeah.
It was she was fine. Like, she was a little bit less like energy filled, but she was also getting older at that point because we theorized that she was about 1.5 to 2 years old when we got her off the street.
She was a small little thing.
Yeah. And so at that point she'd been up for like 3 years. And so we're like, if she's 3 years old, that kind of makes sense why she would start to calm down a bit at this point. So we're like, she still runs and stuff, but she doesn't love running. And she's not like a really playful cat, so it makes sense. So, it's fine that she's not like that. She's always not been really a playful cat. So we were like, that's fine. And then slowly she started just like kind of sitting in one place more often for longer periods of time than normal. But we were like, that's fine, whatever. It's hot. Feels like starting to become like, it was.
Yeah,
like,
that was like the end of summer, I want to say.
Yeah, it was like fall. It was like becoming fall.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's fine. It's warm. Like, I get ya. And then like I went to work, and she was fine. And I came home, and suddenly when she got up and she saw me and got up, she fell over.
Fuck.
And she then got up again and started walking, but was like swaying and wobbling. And I was like, that's fucking weird. Never seen you do that one.
That's not good.
That's not good. And so we called, and Olivia brought her to a vet, and they were like, oh, we're gonna do blood tests. So they did blood tests. We came back, and they were like, yeah, your cat's like dying, bro. Like, take her to an emergency vet. So we did, and they were like, yeah, we don't know what caused this, because they were trying to figure. Basically, we knew she was like, listen, when they say kidney failure, your cat's basically gone. Like,
yes.
That's the sad thing about it.
Very low, if any, recovery.
Exactly. And so we were like, well, fuck that. Oh, fuck. And so at that point, they're like, do you want to try to figure out what caused this? And we're like, does it cost anything? And they're like, no. And so we're like, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to do any tests. We're just going to try to figure this shit out. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure. And so they tried to figure it out. They couldn't figure it out. They had no reason why. She was, 3 years old, basically. Like, they gathered. So they were like, this is weird. She didn't eat any plants or anything like that. This is weird. And, months later, we figured out that the shampoo thing is a possibility other than she just developed kidney failure.
Yeah.
But, like, we brought her in. They call us, and they were like, hey, you can either pay, like, $6,000 to possibly have her recover, or you can pay, like, this much to have her on dialysis for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Or you could just put her down.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're gonna put her down.
Yeah. There's not many decent options.
No, and that's the thing, is that they were like, the $6,000 is the literal lowest that could cost you. By the way,
yeah, it could get higher.
It could get higher, and again, that's like I asked, like, oh, like, this is a bad question, but this helps me prioritize in my brain. I was like, what's the percentage? I was like, I know you can't actually tell me like it's a guaranteed 20% or whatever, but like, give me an approximation percentage to whether I think this would be like, not worth it, because it would be worth it if I have the money.
Yeah.
But
if it means the cat's still around for a few years, of course it's worth it.
Yeah. But it's just the fact of like, do I want to put myself in $6,000 of debt
for a 20%?
Yeah, for a 20%, which is no, I can't even pay $6,000 back. I barely no. And yeah, that's basically what she said. She was like, yeah, it's like a 25%. And I was like, yeah. And it's like, it's sad, but that's like what it is.
you can fill the hole, you can't fill the cat.
Yeah,
Sybil
was fucking unique. She was my little trash goblin. She was a fucking hobo cat. We found her under Olivia's parents' house eating fucking rats and shit. Like,
hell yeah.
Like, she was my little trash goblin. I love that cat to death and back. She would sit in my second chair, because for you guys, I have two chairs, one for Olivia to sit in, one for me to sit in. And she would sit in Olivia's chair when Olivia would go pass out after they get back from work, and she would sit in Olivia's chair and just kind of like sit next to me while I played games and shit. So whenever Olivia woke up and they came out, they'd be like, "Oh, look, the gamer cat, gamer kitty." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, she's been sitting there all night." She was very chill. I love that cat.
Yeah, you like. I still remember Billy. You probably
I remember Billy.
And I'm not gonna forget Boris.
Yeah.
Which I called him basically a different name every time I saw him. But apparently the only one that ever really stuck with other people was one time ever I called him Meat Bus.
Meat Bus?
Yeah, because he was real wide set.
Yeah,
like he had these wide set hips to him, and he had this sort of like slow trundling move. And I was like, he's a bus made of meat. He's the Meat Bus.
Yeah,
and that just fucking tickled everyone else pink so much.
Yeah,
way more than Bungo or Borgo or like any number of nicknames. Just Meat Bus.
Meat Bus.
So I'll always remember Meat Bus.
I love that.
He was a prissy little diva. He was loud and obnoxious. He was fat and sassy.
Yeah.
He had all this personality in this relatively little body. He was a big fat cat. But you can get a new cat.
Yeah.
You can fill the hole, but you never replace the cat.
No. Gulliver is completely different from Sybil. Sybil was chill. She would just fucking vibe.
Gulliver's a fucking monkey.
Yeah, Gulliver's a fucking crackhead, dude. Like, he, like, he'll come up to you like he wants a pet, and so you're like, oh yeah, sure, bud, and you like lean down to pet him, and then he bolts. Then he'll bolt back, and they'll bolt again, and they'll bolt back, and it'll be like,
well, how much of that is him being young?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is that like a lot of his personality right now is just
some cats
young.
calm down, and then some of them stay fucking neurotic forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Boris's sister Sam, like I think she's the same age as him. She won't let me fucking touch her.
Oh really?
I have lived in that house with her for like 4+ years. Won't let me fucking touch her.
That's the thing, is that like he still loves like pets and stuff. Not to say that he's not like a fucking love bug of a cat.
Yeah.
But he also has the fucking energy of just like a zoom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And whereas like Sybil, even when we got her, when we were like, she's probably because they aged her at the vet, so we were like, how old is she? Because we don't know.
Yeah.
And they're like probably 2.
Can't really know without cutting her open and counting the rings.
Yeah, but like probably 2. And we're like, okay, cool. So that like even at 2, she was a fucking old lady.
Yeah.
Like even when Feely was like trying to chase her because dogs is how they play, she would just like trot.
Yeah.
She trotted.
Well, I mean, Feely is not that threatening.
No, he's a sweet, sweet boy. Gulliver and him will boomy zoomy around the apartment for hours. Oh god,
I've already seen it.
Yeah, they're a lot together. It was really funny because when Gulliver got fixed recently,
yeah,
he had all the stuff was like don't try to limit jumping, try to limit physical activity, don't feed them his full amount, feed them like a half, but maybe feed them a little bit more often than normal, all that kind of stuff, all that post-surgery shit, and not to pop out sutures and stuff shit. And so we're like, oh, he can't come out into the living room because Feely's going to see him and they're going to boomy zoomy around the whole goddamn apartment.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, then let's just, fuck it, let's just keep him in our room for like until he's healed. And so then we have a good friend who was at the vet field, Buckley.
Yeah.
And so we just send like anything having to do with Gulliver being a fucking weirdo, we ask him, and he said to us it's okay before. We're not just unsolicitedly asking him because that's fucking rude.
No, I know Buckley. He's
yeah. Of course you know.
Yes, he's fucking my sister.
Yeah. So we sent him a picture. So me and Olivia asked Buckley while I was on stream if it'd been like, we told him the dates and stuff. We're like, do you think this is long enough? Like possibly, because it was like 8 days, and they said like 7 to 10. So we're like, yeah, do you think this is good? And he was like, well, I'd have to see. And then Olivia was like, got you, and then took a picture of Gulliver's fucking ball sack and sent it to Buckley. And Buckley was like, it's really funny. I think we're on stream. I can't actually, no, I don't think we were. I think we were on the stream. I don't know. Whatever. I don't remember anymore. But he was like, it's funny how the last time we had talked, we were talking about a fucking anime. Yeah. And then the next time we talk, it's you sending me a picture of your cat's
cat
balls. Yeah. Moral of the story was he was fine, and so we let him out. And then Feely was just so happy to see his friend again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Feely was fucking ecstatic, bro.
Because they're both social animals.
Yeah, exactly. They're both fucking social creatures. So, one of my favorite not one of my favorite, one of the most stressful moments was a day in after he got the surgery. We saw this little thing sticking out of his testicle.
Yeah.
And we're like, huh, that's weird.
That's fucky.
That's what the fuck is that? And so, luckily, Buckley and Vivian and Kyle were coming over to play Cyberpunk with us, to play the tabletop with us that night. So I was like, cool, I could ask Buckley then. So I asked Buckley. He comes in. We get the cat. We hold him there. And Buckley's like, yeah, that looks like the Vestefren, just popping out. And we're like, I was like, oh, is that normal? He was like, no. We're like, he was like, does it happen? He was like, I mean, yeah, it happens, but it's not normal. I was like, okay, like what's the fix? He was like, well, the fix is you take them in, they go, holy shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
They sit them on the table, they scruff them, and then they just whoop, and then they just glue that bitch shut out of there within an hour. Probably not even on drugs. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, super simple. It's just you just fucking push it back in. I was like, huh.
Is this leading to you telling me about how you pushed it back in?
No.
Okay.
God, no.
Thank fuck.
I would do it for myself.
You would do it if it was your balls?
Yeah. If it was mine, I would do it, but not to someone else.
Could I do it if it was your balls?
I mean, yeah, I trust you.
Cool.
Well, I don't trust you.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like
But
I've seen a penis before.
have you seen inside the penis before? Have you sounded your dick to the point where you could look inside?
I've sounded my dick, but not to the point where I could look inside.
So have you really sounded your dick?
I mean,
I'm gonna
okay.
gatekeep sounding.
Okay,
right
how
now.
how far do you have to sound for it to be proper sound?
I'm thinking double zero.
Define double zero.
Oh, sorry, that's an ear size. That's a
Yeah,
fucking.
it's not
plug ear.
fucking gauges.
That's a gauge size.
If you get it gauge wide, you're fucked. That thing won't close again.
Who needs it to close again?
Fucking hell.
Infections. That's who.
Yes. the inside area there, it's very fucking sensitive.
It's
It's a thing.
It's a wee bit sensitive.
It's a wee bit sensitive. Speaking of, I need to take a quick pee break.
Fucking same, brother.
Okay.
We can just end it honestly. We've been going for like 2 hours.
I mean, we could end it.